Hi, this is Ken Peters from NebeRunner.com. Today, we will be talking about the four horsemen of the apocalypse and its relationship with the four blood moons and how we decoded messages about both from recently appearing crop circles in the Netherlands. I will give you a quick summary of the Bible prophecy and let you decide yourself if we should be alarmed by the recently unfolded events. Of course, feel free to voice your opinion and correct what you feel are my mistakes. I am here to share my humble opinion and would also appreciate hearing your interpretations. So what is the four horsemen of the apocalypse? As described in the last book of the New Testament of the Bible, the book of Revelation, the revelation of St. John the Divine, chapter 6, verses 1 through 8, about a book in God's right hand that is sealed with 7 seals. The Lamb of God, or Lion of Jesus Christ, opens the first of the 7 seals, which summons 4 beasts that ride out on white, red, black, and pale horses. The 4 riders are seen as symbolizing conquest, war, famine, and death. The Christian apocalyptic vision is that the 4 horsemen are to set a divine apocalypse upon the world as harbingers of the last judgment. To say in plain and simple words, the arrival of the 4 horsemen is the beginning of the end. They were given power to kill by sword, famine, plague, and by the wild beast of the earth, as described in Revelation chapter 6, verses 7 through 8, New American Standard Bible. First horseman, conquest on the white horse. There are several interpretations, as conquest means victory. People find it hard to link victory with the bad news horse we are expecting. The evangelist Billy Graham introduced the idea that the white horse is actually the Antichrist, or a false prophet. I actually have a slightly different theory. Most of the misery in history came from false victories. Napoleon and Hitler wouldn't have tried to conquer the world if they had not tasted of sweet early victories. The supergerm wouldn't exist if we had not cured most of the known infectious diseases with antibiotics. Think of this pattern in every recent conflict, and you will see the wisdom in calling the first horseman conquest. And also remember, one side's victory is the other side's defeat. With the losing side trying to get even, the war and hatred can cause a fast spinning downward spiral. The rider of the second horse is often taken to represent war and the color red, as well as the rider's possession of a great sword suggest blood that is to be spilled. I need not tell you about the destruction of war. War never stops. Just as we thought the Cold War was over, we have the War on Terror. As we thought we finally got an upper hand on that, ISIS started their war of terror. And just when Ukraine was able to join NATO, Russia quickly invaded Ukraine and made us face the chilling reality that peace is fragile. Like a piece of paper, and it can be cut, torn, or shred in pieces. The third horseman riding on a black horse represents famine. The horseman carries a pair of balances or weighing scales. indicating the way that bread would have been weighed during a famine. Even if you missed our other videos about the world's 60 million refugees, maybe you have noticed the increasing food prices. Have you heard about the drought in Australia and America? The major sources of the world's food sources. How about the problem with population growth and the shortage of water? Also, do you know how many people in America today live on food stamps? I think the Black Horseman has been on the run for a while. We simply have not been paying attention. The fourth and final horseman is named Death, also known as the Pale Rider. The verse beginning, "They were given power over a fourth of the earth," is generally taken as referring to death and Hades. This is commonly interpreted as 25% of the world's population will perish as a result of the Pale Horseman's visit. Imagine the lawlessness and chaos after the war, infectious diseases, and famine. If you do not have a vivid imagination, try to find news clips of the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. So what is a blood moon? It is a total solar eclipse, and the red color is caused by a Rayleigh scattering of sunlight through the Earth's atmosphere. During a total eclipse, the Earth completely blocks the sunlight from reaching the surface of the moon. And because Earth's atmosphere refracts sunlight and indirectly lights up the moon's surface, the moon turns red. When we have 4 consecutive total lunar eclipses without partial or penumbral lunar eclipses in between, it is called a lunar tetrad. Tetrad is also mentioned in the Bible. In the book of Joel it states, "The sun will turn into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great and terrible day of the Lord comes." This phrase is mentioned again by St. Peter during Pentecost, as recorded in Acts. The blood moon also appears in the book of Revelation, chapter 6, verses 11 through 13. It states, "There was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth, and the moon became as blood." As you can see in this illustration, as stated in Bible prophecy, the sun turned to black. The solar eclipse on March 20th, 2015, is the last part of the puzzle. It seems to fit the prophecy right on. However, the prophecy also predicted a great earthquake. So let's backtrack on the last several blood moons and see if there is any evidence of great earthquakes. So what does the 4 horsemen have to do with the 4 blood moons? I went back 60 plus years and analyzed the last 4 tetrad periods. And this chart is a quick summary of what I have found. The discovery or outbreak of new deadly diseases, major natural disasters, and major wars with lasting impact. Please note that although you may think the China Civil War in 1949 only killed 5 million, versus World War II that killed 66 million, World War II only lasted a few years, while Communist China killed 45 million between 1949 and 1969. And the 2003 Iraq War is still going on with huge impact in the Middle East and the rest of the world. When I researched the blood moons, I noticed the disastrous bloody trails, which led me to some research on the Four Horsemen. Now, here comes the million-dollar question. There are so many blood moons, so many wars in history. Why do you think this one is the one? No one knows when our end will come, but other than a few people who can't wait for the judgment day to come, most of us hope the end will never come. From April 28th, 2015 to June 15th, 2015, 6 crop circles appeared in close proximity in the Netherlands. The messages have been decoded in many ways, including several of my own theories. Based on what I've found, the decoded message is quite alarming. On April 28, 2015, this crop circle appeared with Earth being identified as the second from the right, since it has a circle around it looking like the moon's orbit. The spiral globes was said to be an incoming object, possibly Nibiru, which should come around November the 15th, 2015. During the next planetary alignment of Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. My theory is that the spiral globes are actually lunar eclipses during the last and next 4 planetary alignments. This gives me a date of May 17th, 2016. If we count all eclipses, or November the 8th, 2022 if we count only total lunar eclipses. Either one, you can see the current 4 blood moons in the crop circle. Please note that the 4 planets are projected to align on November 8th, 2022. Please also note that if we consider the spiral globes to be blood moons, the formation starting from the right can be first Venus, or Mercury, Earth, then any 2 from the lineup of Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, or Uranus. This lineup led to my third theory about the planetary alignment on the day of the blood moon. On April 15th, 2014 and September 28th, 2015, 2 of the 4 blood moons in this tetrad year, 4 planets are aligned as shown in the crop circle alignment. I think the crop circle showed us that disaster happens when the blood moon aligns with the planets during the tetrad year. And the only other planetary alignments on blood moon dates are in this tetrad year. As you can see on 4/14/2014, Mercury, Earth, Mars, and Uranus all aligned. And on 9/28/15, Venus, Earth, Mars, and Neptune are aligned. And when another crop circle appeared in the same area on 5/7/2015, there is a 5-planet alignment, which is Venus, or Mercury, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and Uranus. Please look at this picture and tell me if it looks just like the alignment on 9/28/15. Check the alignment on solarsystemscope.com and find the alignment information yourself. So, I believe a major disaster is on the horizon either on or around 9/28/2015. But let's hope for the best and try to prepare for the worst. God bless you all. So, what do you think? If you ask me, I will say the Four Horsemen already started their run in this Tetrad year. Russia had its victory over Ukraine. The Syrian war caused horror, death, and created famine and the world's new refugee crisis. There was a major earthquake in Nepal that killed 9,236 people. Is the worst still on its way? I also want to add that the only other planetary alignments on blood moon days during a Tetrad year I have found was on April 13th, 1949 and April 2nd, 1950. Do you remember what happened during that time? Didn't the Bible say the end time would start when the Jewish state is founded?